What's up? Welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video, and today we are going to be ranking all the elements in Borderlands 3 in my personal opinion, from my least favorite to my favorite. I'm not going to put worst to best solely because all the elements in this game are all very good in their own right and their own purpose, and there's no bad element per se. So it's just gonna be like my opinion, my favorite to least, or my least favorite to favorite. And yeah, obviously guys, there's only 5 elements, there's no reason for us to do an honorable mention. So with that all being said, guys, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. Coming in at number 5 for your boy, that is going to be none other than Shock. Right now, look guys, obviously shock damage, the reason why for me it's at the bottom is because I really don't use it all that often. Now, the shock element has very good uses in things like the Guardian takedown and Maliwan takedown, especially when those activities first came out. You had to match your elements, and I know everybody was looking for a shock cutsman way back when the Maliwan takedown came back, and I know a lot of people, including myself, were hunting for a reflex with next to mag shock. But yeah, shock is real fun anointment because you can obviously use, like a thing like a back burner or any form of splash damage that has shock in a transformer, and you'll never kill yourself, which is really fun. Only shield, or only element in the game that can replenish your shield, which is pretty cool. But yeah, guys, shock does come in at number 5 just because I do use it the least, but it still definitely has its uses, and it's very good at ripping down enemy shields. But let's go ahead and move on to number 4. Coming in at number 4, guys, we're going to have none other than incendiary ammo, or incendiary damage. So the reason why I have incendiary so low is because now incendiary is only good at burning down flesh enemies, right? While shock is like weak to flesh, and fire is weak to armor. Fire is really good against flesh. Duh. Have you ever cooked anything? You use heat, and fire is hot. But so the reason why I have incendiary low down at number 4 for me is because I believe that like incendiary, it's a good element, but it primarily is only like up there really if you're on Mo's. If you are on Mo's, you could say fire's the best element, and I would not say anything. However, because this is for every Vault Hunter, I cannot put it at number 1. But if you're a Mo's player, dude, your fire damage is your bread and butter. Your fire in the Skag Den is going to put in that work. Obviously, guys, we are using a Bloodstarved Beast on Mo's we are using a Fire Old God and a Minesweeper, all that good jazz. But yeah, dude, I mostly just put the fire down here because I think it's better than shock. I use it more than shock. I have brutally murdered Wotan plenty of time with just fire weapons on Mo's. But once again, the reason why it is down here so low is because I just found that fire is only generally really good on fire enemies, and then because a lot of enemies in this game do have at least 2 health bars, sometimes even 3, and you have to chew through those 3 health bars, and if there's 3 of them, no, one of those enemies, one of those bars is going to be armored, and your fire is going to get kind of bodied for a little bit there. But I mean, yeah. Anyways, guys, if you're a Mo's player, fire could definitely be your best element in the entire game for sure. But for the entire game, I have it down here at number 4. Let's go ahead and move on to number 3. And coming in at number 3, I might get some hate for this, but I'm going to go have the icy cryo damage. Now, before y'all flame me, right? The reason why I have cryo down here, okay. First off, let me just say that these next 3, right? They're like inches, not feet away from each other. All the elements are good, right? I have to put the order somehow, and I just have to put cryo right here for a few reasons, right? Obviously, cryo is super good against armor. It can freeze people. If you're a Zane main, obviously Sentinel cryo was like a top a meta anointment for a while back in Mayhem 4, before we got things like URAD and stuff like that. Sentinel cryo is still a very good element and all that good jazz. However, cryo will shred armor. It does get bodied a little bit by shields, and it doesn't perform really all that well against Wotan, because Wotan does resist it, which is kind of reason why I have it low down here. However, I mean, a lot of enemies in this game will definitely get worked by Cryo. And, you know, the Cryo element of freezing enemies I have found to be way more useful than, you know, like, just putting a dot on an enemy, right? I find it more useful than because, for instance, dude, like, if we just look at something like the Frozen Heart Stopgap Shield, having that Cryo freeze enemies is very helpful for AoE crowd control, because you're gonna, you know, you're freezing enemies that are not gonna shoot you, especially if you're on Zane. You get all that extra Cryo bonuses and all that good jazz. You're gonna be freezing a lot of your opposition so they can even damage you. Plus, you know, having enemies frozen does help with another element that we're gonna get to later on down the list. But I had to put Cryo somewhere, and because, you know, and because I hate getting frozen and getting cryoed myself, I'm gonna put Cryo at number 3. But that's not the sole reason why. Like, guys, these 3 elements right here, our top 3, are literally inches, centimeters away from each other. Even they're not, like, they're so close. I have to put them in tier somehow. I know some people love Cryo, live and die by the Cryo. But yeah, the Cryo for me is gonna take our number 3 spot. And yeah, let's go ahead, move on to our number 2 spot, guys. Coming in at number 2, Corrosive, or Corrosion, as the homie Handsome Jack would say. So the reason why we have Corrosive higher than things like Cryo, right, is for a very like, it's small reasons, right? Obviously, the only super effective element against things like Wotan is going to be your Corrosive. Corrosive does get bodied a little bit by shock, doesn't do too well against flesh, but the amount of armored enemies in this game, you have to value what Corrosive brings to the table. Wotan, Anathema, fucking, what's his name, Scourge, god, that boss is irrelevant. But, you know, most of the Guardian takedown is filled with armored enemies and shock enemies. You're going to want to have at least some sort of corrosive and some form of corrosion in your build whenever you do like those high-end takedowns, especially the Guardian takedown. Maybe the Malon you can get away with using Cryo a little bit, you know, but at the end, you know, fighting Wotan, you're definitely going to want to have some of that corrosive power. I mean, yeah, Corrosive only puts a dot on the enemies in the opposition, unlike Cryo, which actually freezes them and like stops them in their tracks. But I had to put Corrosive up here just mainly for the sole purpose that literally all the high-end content, having a corrosive weapon is going to be very, very useful, and there's plenty of good corrosive weapons out there. I'm looking at you, Breath of the Dying. God, I love that assault rifle, dude. As you can see, that's the weapon we chose to use for the corrosive gameplay. But yeah, guys, corrosive does come in at number 2 spot. It's just so good against a lot of high-end content, and it's just very, very good. And I guarantee you, if they add like another takedown, yeah, you're gonna want to have some corrosive, because they just love giving multiple health bar of armored enemies to us. But yeah, guys, corrosive takes our number 2 spot, and that only leaves one more element to come in at number 1. So coming in at our number 1 spot, if y'all watch the channel, you know how much I love this element. That's gonna be radiation, homie. So first off, let me just say, radiation, there's not that many enemies in the game that are immune to it. I should have mentioned that for some of the other elements. For instance, if we just take the Malon takedown example, take the Malon takedown for example, there are those heavyweight enemies that are immune to all 4 of the previous elements except for radiation, which is pretty useful. Radiation is good against every single form of health bar except for armored. It does get a little bit bodied by armor, but it's great against shock. It's great against It's great against shields. It's great against flesh. And whenever you kill an enemy with radiation, it's going to the enemies are going to explode a radiation nova that can chain the nearby explosions to other enemies and chain the radiation aura dot damage to other enemies. And then on top of that, you can put something on like a red suit to make yourself immune to the radiation. Then you can get something like an atom bomb to make your radiation aura even more deadly. There's just a lot of things in this game that help you whenever like you're trying to do a lot of radiation work. And yeah, dude, for our weapon of choice to showcase the radiation, I had to use the fucking flipper. Some people do not think that the flipper is the best like gun in the game, dude. The flipper's the best gun in the game. You could argue like maybe like a Monarch, a rocket launcher, or whatever. Flipper for the fucking win. Okay, but I'm digressing, guys. Radiation, it puts in massive amounts of work. I have used radiation damage to like brute force my way through some content. because you can do that, because my god, is radiation just really good. Plus it's the new element that they added with BL3, and lo and behold, dude, radiation does completely put in some massive work, and it does come in at our #1 spot. But yeah, guys, that is going to just about wrap up the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, then go ahead, drop your load on that like button, and subscribe if you all are new. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers, so if you all like daily Borderlands 3 content, then make sure to subscribe. But anyways, guys, I want to know your top 5, how y'all would rank the elements in this game. I'm very curious. I feel like not many people have made a video like this of ranking the elements in this game. But yeah, guys, that's my list. I want to know y'all down in the comments below. Hope y'all did enjoy the video, guys. My name's Kree, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Me